Right now, we are living through what might be the most important competition of the 21st century. It's a race that's going to define who leads the world for generations to come. And today, we're unpacking that global race for AI dominance.
But first, let's get one thing straight. Artificial intelligence, it's not just another piece of software. It's not the latest shiny gadget.
It is power, plain and simple. It's the new currency of geopolitical influence. Whichever nation leads in AI will have a staggering advantage, economically, militarily, and even culturally.
And while you might think you know who's in the running, the field is a lot more complicated than it looks. You've got the established leader, the United States. You have the lightning-fast challenger, China. And now, there's a third major power entering the ring, and it's playing a totally different game: India.
For years, the story we've been told is that this is a simple sprint, a two-horse race between the US and China, with a single winner-take-all finish line.
But that whole idea is a myth. The reality is, as one source brilliantly puts it, this isn't a sprint, it's a decathlon. And that one word changes everything. It means there isn't just one winner. There are multiple events, multiple ways to score points, and different leaders for each one.
So let's take a look at the playbooks for the two big titans, the US and China. Because you'll see pretty quickly, they aren't even competing on the same track.
Their whole approach is fundamentally different. The US, with its powerhouse private sector, is all about creating frontier models. These are the biggest, most powerful, most cutting-edge AI systems on the planet. China, on the other hand, is driven by state policy, and their game is all about widespread deployment, getting AI into the real world, into factories, into cities, into everyday life.
And if you want to understand the US advantage, just look at the money. A 12-to-1 investment gap in private AI funding in just 1 year. That is a massive fire hose of capital. And it allows American companies to just keep pushing the boundaries of what is even possible.
So what does all that money buy you? Well, it buys you time, a lead. Right now, there's a pretty consistent gap. The best Chinese models are, on average, about 7 months behind the American frontier. And in this race, where progress moves at lightning speed, 7 months might as well be an eternity.
But, and this is a big but, raw power isn't the only event in the decathlon. Look at how they go to market. The US keeps its best models closed-weight. They're proprietary, you access them through an API, and you pay for it. China has leaned into open-weight models. They're often free, you can download them, you can tweak them, you can build on them, and that strategy is winning over a massive global army of developers who care more about cost and control.
And that brings us to India. Because India isn't trying to beat the US in making frontier models, and it's not trying to outmanufacture China. It is playing an entirely different game with its own unique, sovereign strategy.
Their entire philosophy is captured in this one simple but incredibly powerful phrase: AI for all. See, for India, the main goal isn't just about building the fanciest tech. It's about using AI to solve huge, real-world problems for its billion-plus citizens. Things like healthcare, agriculture, and financial inclusion.
And how are they going to do that? They're using a playbook they have already perfected: digital public infrastructure, or DPI. Think of it like building digital highways, like their Aadhaar identity system or their UPI payments network, and then letting anyone, public or private, build businesses and services on top. They're now doing the exact same thing for AI.
And all of this is coming together to create a full, homegrown ecosystem called the India AI Stack.
It's basically a 3-layer cake, and each layer is sovereign, meaning they control it. At the bottom, you have infrastructure. India is building its own AI compute grid to keep costs down and not rely on foreign companies. In the middle, you have models. They're not just using American models, they're building their own, specifically trained for India's 22 official languages and unique cultures. And at the top, applications. This is where a whole ecosystem of startups can build services on top of those first 2 layers to solve real Indian problems.
And look, this isn't just some theory on a PowerPoint slide. It's happening now. You have companies like Sarvam AI building speech models that work in dozens of local languages. You have platforms like Bharat Ginani creating tools for small e-commerce sellers or giving advice to farmers. This is AI built from the ground up to serve a specific national purpose.
So when you put it all together, 3 very different strategies, all unfolding at once, you realize the global balance of power is shifting right under our feet. We are watching a new world order take shape, and it's being forged by AI.
Which brings us right back to our original question, but now we can see it in a whole new light. In an AI decathlon, who actually wins?
Well, the most likely answer is Nobody. At least, not in the old winner-take-all sense. Geopolitics experts have a term for the likely future: asymmetric AI bipolarity. It's a fancy phrase, but the idea is simple. No one country wins everything. Instead, different powers end up leading in different, equally important parts of the AI world.
And you can already see how these spheres of influence are forming. The US is set to dominate the high end, the frontier models, the pure R&D. China is carving out its leadership in embodied AI, the robots, the smart factories, the physical hardware that connects AI to the real world. And India is building its own sphere of influence around inclusive, population-scale AI, creating a playbook that could become the model for the entire global south.
All of this forces us to completely redefine what victory even means here. This isn't about a single finish line anymore.
Because in the long run, the winner won't be the country that builds the single most powerful model. The winner will be the nation that figures out how to translate AI into real, widespread benefits, economic and societal, for the largest number of its people.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. If the race is no longer for the smartest AI, but for the most beneficial AI, who do you think is actually best positioned to win that race?